Welcome back in, guys. Trey Lowell here with Lowell Productions. If you're interested or new to color grading, today's video is going to be for somebody like you. We're going to be hopping up into Final Cut 10, and I'll show you guys my workflow in regards to this particular setup in color grading coming up next. Alright, so many of you guys out there, maybe you are new to color grading or you're just experimenting around with color grading. Let's go ahead and talk about this particular shot with no color grading at all. Okay, so now this gives you guys an understanding of what we are starting from. A little bit of a background, I'm shooting with the Panasonic GH5. I like to shoot with a natural profile, really because that gives me some more flexibility and it shoots rather flat, but it does lock in a lot of colors. Now, let's go ahead and hop up into Final Cut, and my first reaction is we're going to come over to the right. We're going to go in Effects, and for all of you guys, Color Board is going to be at the very top. We're going to double click that. There he goes, it pops up. I'm going to go over to Exposure first. I typically like to start with the highlights and the shadows, but I do also know that I tend to kind of do a lot of pulling back in the mids as well. So, if you're a little bit wondering what the heck I'm even talking about, highlights are going to be the white, midtones are going to be in the gray, and shadows are going to be in the black. So let's go ahead and we're going to brighten this up a little bit here. That's the overall. Coming to the shadows, I know that my shadows are already pretty dark, but we're going to bring them down to -5. And then my midtones, I love to just go ahead and start at a -10, start from there, and that's looking pretty good. Also, saturation-wise, we haven't added any saturation, so we're going to come to our highlights, and this is where I'm going to probably add the most saturation, bringing it up to a point where I'm looking at my skin tones, trying to see if it looks natural, and also that bulb or orb that's over, I guess, my left shoulder to the right of the screen, that I'm trying to see how natural it looks. And we're at 40%, I think that looks pretty good, and then I'm going to come to my midtones, and I'm going to bring that up a little bit as well. And I tend to not do too much lifting of the midtones and shadows. At least with my Panasonic GH5, a lot of times it adds a lot of reds or oranges, makes skin tones not look like they're natural. But if you guys want to see where we started and where we're currently at, we'll come up here to this check mark, click it. So there we were. Here's where we're at now. And we're going to do one other quick thing that I think will add to it. And like I said, this is more basic, beginner level kind of color grading, but we're going to double click on the color board one more time. Boom, boom. Color board 2 will pop up. We're going to come up to this top right. We're looking at this, I guess, square with the circle in it. It's going to apply a shape mask. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to click on that, add shape mask. Okay, a little circle with the mask will come up here. Now, the key here is we're actually going to go back up there, click on it, and do invert mask. So it's going to do everything outside of this mask that we're creating. So I'm going to make this mask go up. We're going to go like this here. And if you guys are wondering what I'm trying to do here, I'm kind of trying to create a vignette on the outside of the actual shot itself. So it'll be darker on the edges, and as we get in, where mainly all the focus will be pretty much myself, we want that to be the brightest and the rest to be a little bit darker, and as it kind of makes your way, it brightens in. This is just a style I like. You can kind of goof around and figure out with what you like, but we're going to now come back to exposure, and we're going to, here I tend to start with the shadows and actually work backwards. So I'll start with my shadows, bring it down just a little bit, brought that to -8. My midtones, I'll probably bring to about a -8 as well. And then my highlights, I'll probably bring down just like 2 or 3. Now, if you're thinking, wow, that didn't do that much, let's go ahead and show you real quick. This is with it on, that's with it off, and you guys can see on the edges, if I'm activating and deactivating, should be significantly darker, or a little bit darker. I think what you're trying to do here, or at least what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to make it look better, but not noticeable. I think that's the whole goal with color grading and anything like that, is you want it to look natural, unless you're completely going for an unnatural look. But most of us go for natural, and the changes you want to make that to the point where the viewer really just is not even noticing it. If I kind of like, let's just say I crank down those shadows super dark on the sides, you're going to get to a point where now the user can see the vignetting on the outside. So we'll bring that back to 3. And actually, I think that proved I can go a little bit darker. We'll do a -15 on the midtones. And I think that's where we'll leave it. And if you guys want to see where we started and where we are at, we are currently here with everything. We'll actually go back to the very top. With all effects, this is what we currently look like. We'll actually do full screen. This gives you guys an understanding of what we are starting. Alright, playback's garbage. But you can see full screen with all the effects. And then without, and what I can see here compared to the other, it's just the colors look, everything looks flattened, and that's what I was going for. I wanted a little bit of flexibility when it came to shooting, but I also wanted it to look good enough that I wasn't going to have to sit here for hours to figure out the color grade. To me, this is a very quick workflow. You guys see it. I have 2 color boards, and you wouldn't even have to do the shape mask to make this look good. It's just that added bonus I like to use in regards to bringing that light in, focusing it where it needs to be. And a lot of times it just means a lot of the stuff on the edges can kind of get knocked out, and all the focus and attention is right front and center. So hey guys, as always, I hope you found this video useful, and if so, make sure to hit that like button. And if you like the content I keep creating on this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And this quick, simple tutorial, if you found it useful, make sure to drop a comment in the comment section below, or if you have any questions, feel free, questions below. I'll do my best to answer them. And normally I'd have a beer, but it's too early in the day, so I will just say, cheers, I'm out, and hopefully you guys found that useful. Quick color grade, more in-depth stuff down the road.